How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Crossways. How you doing, Steph?
I'm good, are you?
You're very good. You're looking well, Steph.
Oh, thanks, so are you?
How's it been this week with the launch of the book?
You know what, I'm actually nervous but
What are you
excited
nervous
at the
for?
same time.
What are you nervous for? Because you put it out there. You've put it out there.
Yeah, because it's out there now, but yeah, do you like it?
I do like it. Look at you, Steph. Look at
You don't like keen on the light blue, though, are you?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because obviously Man City has to be there. But Steph, this must have been like as much as like, because obviously doing a book, and I'm gonna leave it here. Doing a book and opening up like you have. How did that feel right from the start? How did that feel when someone said to you, Steph, I think we should do a book? What do you?
You know what? I actually always kind of wanted to do one for like a few different reasons. I think when I was younger, I used to get like autobiographies for Christmas, and it used to be always male autobiographies. And I think as I was going on in my career, I always thought, right, okay, like there's not many female footballers that have ever done one.
Yes.
So it's always kind of been in the back of my mind. Never did I ever think it would actually happen. But I think obviously these last 2 years I've thought about a lot more because I was thinking about retiring.
Right.
And I think once you make that decision to do that, I'm like, right, okay, to Matthew, like, let's try and see if we can get one. But we always had someone that wanted to kind of do something with us. So as soon as that announcement was made, no word of a lie, that night they were like, right, okay, are we ready to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I think once you sit down for that first conversation about how you want it to look, and for me, the first thing was I wanted to be so real. I wanted to be as honest as I possibly could be from both sides of like on and off the pitch. I think sometimes people just see people as footballers, but there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. And that was what I want to try and get across. And hopefully that does in the book.
What I want to ask you, just going way back, is who was playing football in your family? Was your dad? Who played football?
Yeah, my dad. But obviously coming from the northeast as well, all my mates used to play.
And the girls?
Yeah, so my best friend's my cousin Amy, so we always used to play, but literally there'd be like a group of like 10 or 11 of us, boys and girls, that would just play in the street and just...
How old was you then?
Probably about 6, 7.
Wow.
Yeah, so it kind of started from then, and when you go to primary school and there's a football team there, and it wasn't specifically a girls' team, it was mixed football, and we used to always run out at break time and kind of try and get on the top yard to play a five-a-side, and ever since then it was always going to be football, but never to like the length that we've done over the last 20 years.
When did you realise you was good?
I think probably when I went to... Like my mum and dad used to go like Easter holidays, go and get out the house, go to 2 days like holiday camps at Sunderland. And I think that moment where you're getting like certificates for like being one of the best players in front of like 30 odd lads, I think you're thinking, actually, I'm not too baddie. And they weren't just doing it because I was a girl, they were doing it because I had a bit of talent. And I think then when you get that feeling of being picked for teams and the lads want you on your team, then it's like, okay, I've got a little bit something. But I think I never thought I would ever go on this journey that I've been on.
So when you was that age then, and you're obviously getting picked in front of the guys to win trophies and win best player and all that stuff, when did your dad realise? When did you realise that I want to be a footballer, but it wasn't really a thing, was it?
I think when I got scouted for Sunderland, I think when I was 10, I got scouted at one of these holiday camps, and I got asked to go and train with the under-16s at Sunderland. And at the time, like now, all the girls have academies, they go into different age groups. There just wasn't one there, like at that time. So I was just like, okay, let's just go and see him.
Did you have to travel far?
Probably about 30, 40 minutes. So like my dad and mum are taking us after work. I'm meeting new people, and then all of a sudden the Centre of Excellence has started to come in. So I go and trial for that, and then you get scouted for like the first team at the age of 13, which is like you just couldn't do that now. So I'm going to play football with these women that are over 30, they got mortgages, they got work, they're working 9 till 5, the training, we only training twice a week, so that was definitely an eye-opener for me.
What about the, just go quickly to the process of writing it, and how long was it taking in respect of sitting there and talking about it, and where it took you to emotionally, and that, what was that like?
Yeah, I think... you know what? It was really therapeutic, and I think it was the right time to do it. Just after I'd finished, I think I did my first session like a week before I was retiring.
Right.
So I sat down with Mike Keegan, who I wanted to do because I trusted him and I'd done a lot of work with him, and we had 6 4-hour sit downs. And we just did it chronologically. So we went right from the beginning, like my background, my family's background, to Sunderland, to Arsenal, to Man City, with everything in between. So you know what, at times it was emotional, obviously speaking about different things.
Yes.
Obviously I had quite a lot of setbacks in my career, and that resilience to get back up and do it again, and obviously off the pitch as well with Stephen. So I think there were times where, like, I think there were one with Stephen, and all that stuff around his diagnosis was probably the hardest one for obvious reasons. But I think it's so important that I kind of said it how it was, because if we can kind of help one family or help someone to kind of reach out and get the help that they need, then that's part of the book as well, to try and spread that awareness.
But is it difficult though? So once you've done that, again, you mentioned it kind of made it was therapeutic to put it out there. The fact that you've said stuff and it's about Steve and you've put it out there, did that make you feel good inside that, you know what, this is easier to deal with for that reason? I can put it out there.
Yeah, I think now everybody has a bit, well, hopefully once they read the book, that they have a bit of like perspective about life. I think that's first and foremost. And like, if you have that positive mentality, then you can still live the life that you want to do. But also from a football point of view, I think the importance of like young girls, if they are going to read the book, it's like, everybody's journey is so different. Like, I'll always compare to Jill. Mine and Jill's story are so different, but we end up doing the exact same things in our career, in terms of playing for Sunderland, playing for big teams like Everton, Arsenal, Man City, playing for England, which is obviously the ultimate honour. And we did it, but we got there in different ways, and we had different setbacks along the way. So I think that's part and parcel. I think now we live in a world of social media where everybody thinks that everything looks great on social media, but the reality is it's not really like that, and you have little bumps in the road, and hopefully that can show that I had a fair few bumps, but I came back fighting. So yeah.
So when you started your career, what position did you play?
I actually played as a striker.
Right, was you a striker?
I wasn't as clinical as you, though, I don't think.
Yeah.
Hence the centre half.
Did you slowly just get further
Honestly,
and further back?
literally, after year at England, I was like, okay, you can move to the right wing. So I did that.
When you started, so who was it? Was it Sunderland?
Yeah, Sunderland,
right.
yeah.
So you played up front for Sunderland?
Yeah, so we played, always played 4-4-2. I think that was just the formation back then. So I used to play up front, yeah.
So when did it happen for you to get switched to centre half? Did you go midfield then centre half?
Yeah, so from England age groups, I think we had a lot of number 9, so I got pushed out to the wing.
Right.
And then we went to a European qualifier and we had no full-backs, and Mo Marley went, okay, I'm going to try you at right back. Like, you can pass the ball, you'll probably find it a little bit better because you can see everything, you're fast, you can overlap. So then ever since then, I think Hope then seen me as a full-back. And
how old was you then?
Probably about 17.
Right.
Yeah. And then we went to an under-20 tournament, and the full-back, we had loads of fullbacks, but not enough centre half. So then Mo put me centre half. So, and I actually loved it. It was so good. You could just see absolutely everything.
Yes, I was going to say, does it feel easier? Because I feel like right back or fullback, left back, even centre midfield is probably the toughest. I don't think there's been scoring is what you have to do as a striker. I think that defence, centre defender, I go right back is probably the toughest one because you can see everything.
Yeah.
Was it easier just because of you were quicker and you didn't have to stay on the ball for longer? Did it just feel easy?
Yeah, and I loved having the ball at my feet, and I got more touches on the ball by playing there. And I think I was quite good at reading the game, and my understanding was good of the game. So actually, it suited us, and I could play the long passes that I know I can play. And yeah, you know what? And even heading the ball, I think I mentioned in my book, I absolutely love heading the ball. There's not like a lot of people that do it, but I just love the feeling of like winning a header against someone or like attacking a cross. And yeah, I think we don't really place that much emphasis on heading as much now.
Where did the unbelievable free kicks come in? When did you just say, you know what, I want to practice the free. I want to take the free kicks.
I used to just watch David Beckham, and I actually used to watch this video. It was actually video back then. That's, I'm sure, my age now. I used to watch a Miquel Owen video, and he used to go through all these different things, and he used to just take free kicks against Neville Southall. Like, I always remember, and I used to just go, right, okay, I'm just going to practice that technique as much as I can. And no word of a lie, I practice pretty much every single day, like against the wall, just in the street with my mates.
What do you want the readers to take from the book? Because some people will see the serialization or whatever you've done in newspapers, and they will see certain things and they will just jump on that and say, oh, that's selfish, how can she say that, this and that. What do you want the readers to take from it?
I think for me, I think everything's in context. I think everything that's out there at the moment is little snippets of a chapter, whereas I think I would really encourage people to read them chapters full.
Yeah, because that's what happens, Steph. People read that stuff because what I saw when things were just floating back slowly, It's people talking about what you've said and what you said about England and not understanding the position you were in, which is it's clearly in the book, the position you were in, what you were told by the manager, what they wanted you to do, but then things kept changing as you got to the certain juncture, right? I've done that. Well, yeah, but we need you to do this. Okay, I've done that. Yeah, but we need you to do this. And so when you hear people saying that, it's genuinely coming from people. It's definitely, I should say, coming from people who have not read it and got the whole context of it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think that like last 2 years at England was tough for a lot of reasons that I've mentioned in the book. But I think when people see snippets of a little bit of what I've said or what I've said in the interview, I think people are jumping on that. And you know what? I've got to be so thick-skinned at this moment in time. I'm going to understand that it's going to be good and bad. But my thing is that is my truth. And
it's your story.
And I lived that and my family lived that for like 2 years. And the people that are closest to me know exactly what's happened, and we're privy to a lot of them conversations over a period from England and from different parts of the FA. So I think for me, the biggest thing I want people to take away is that it is such a unique story, and I think becoming a professional athlete isn't easy, and to stay at that level there's a lot of hard work that goes into that people don't really see, but there's also little things that you need to kind of make that happen.
And you know something, Steph, even the little snippets that I've read, because I believe that we're going to probably see more autobiographies, because the stories, I believe that every single girl who has played and got to the top, their story, because I always talk about my story, I didn't get to play. And you know what I mean? I didn't get in any trials and but I could play.
Yeah.
I could play football and I could dream of being a footballer. I remember, was it Leah Williamson, after winning the Euros, saying, you know, this is unbelievable because I couldn't actually dream of this.
You could never see it. Like, that's the biggest thing, I think. The first time I ever thought about was probably watching Fulham when they established as a professional team. And I was thinking, oh, actually...
Was that Marianne Spacey and Brenda Sempari and all that?
And we actually went and played in a pre-season tournament, and Fulham came up to, I think it was Manchester or Bolton, and they played. And I remember the amount of people that started to watch them, and we were in the tournament, but we were just like, oh my God, like this could actually happen. You'd obviously heard about America and they professionalising the game and stuff, but it wasn't in this country. So it was just like, okay, it's in America, you can't really think about it. But like actually at that moment in time, I was like, this could actually go big. And then I think once we get the England central contracts and you're a professional footballer and you're dedicated and you're paid a certain amount of money to then go and train and be good for England and be as fit as you possibly can, I think, right, okay, we're on the way to something here. But that was over a number of years. It didn't happen overnight. But I do get what you're saying. I think, for me, I think now there's so many female role models that young girls and boys can look up to kind of dream to be something.
Just quickly before, because we don't give them everything in the book, I won't buy it. The fact is, did you ever think of going to America, because that seemed like the only route for players? You had to go to a collegiate system, and did you ever think of that?
You know what? Not really, no. I think a few of my friends did. Like I think Carly Telford, where we trained together, and she went over there. Obviously Kelly Smith, Alex Scott, they all went, and you kind of think, is that the path that we need to go to? But I think I'm a home girl first and foremost. Didn't really want to move away from home, but I was at university at Loughborough. I was under the English FA, trying to make my way through their system, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right for me. But I understand why a lot of people did, because the opportunity was there. You got good education, and also you got a chance to train full time. Nice.
So So I like it. Look, leading from the back, Steph Houghton.
Love it, right? Thank you.
I like what because I say book and that. It doesn't even sound as cool as you say. Can you say book, please?
Book.
No, you're saying it differently now, Steph.
Book.
That's the one. Steph Houghton, leading from the back. We're not going to give you too much because it's a lot there to take in, man. So, nice one, Steph. That's really cool.
Thank you. Righty. Right. 5-6 games in. Shall we assess how the new managers are doing?
Yes. Who are you going with? Who are you going first?
I'm going to go with the Brighton manager, Dario Vidosic. Yeah. I think they've done really well, to be honest. I think to play 6, win 4, draw 1, and only lost 1, and to be third in the table is pretty impressive.
19 points they got last season. They already got 13. And I get the impression with Brighton that they feel like they can beat everyone. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you look at the way they've started, there's only 22 games in the WSL. Why wouldn't you just go for it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just blast and
I
go
love
for
the
it?
way that they're playing as well, and I feel as though when new managers come in, it does take them a while to kind of get into that rhythm and to get into that style that he wants. But I mean, I watched them against Manchester City in the first half. They were brilliant in terms of playing out from the back. They just didn't have that end product.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, to draw against United and to get that win against Leicester at the weekend is... you've got someone like Nikita Paris who's experienced and now she's scoring. She's putting her head where it hurts, and she's...
Fran.
Yeah, you got likes of Fran. I think for me that's the biggest thing. Takeaway is that they've got quality in them front areas.
Adjaman as well coming off the bench. So judging by the way Brighton have started their step, where do you think they end up? Do you think they could keep it going? Because there's not a lot of expectation on them to do that. They're trying to copy the men with what they're doing, bringing in new manager players, experienced players, and good young players. Where do you think they could end up?
I think they could be top half of the table without a doubt. I think you're looking at the teams now, and obviously they've got Arsenal tonight. So that's going to be a big test, I think, to go and play against one of the top 3 clubs in WSL. I think that kind of, in that style of player and how risky it probably is. But
They'll
I
surely
think
be
for
looking forward to playing against Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good time to play them as well. So I think for me, I think I'm just so impressed in terms of like the strength that they've got in them forward areas and the fact that he's not scared to rotate. I think when you look at the starting lineup, it's always constantly changing. It keeps teams guessing, basically. Speaking about Brighton, they've got Arsenal tonight. Big game.
Massive game, Steph, especially the way we've started the season. I was very disappointed to see Leslie get taken off the other day. I thought that was her best game.
Yeah.
Please, she scored. You know what? I don't like seeing players who play well and score and get taken off against their old team.
Yeah, because we did the game for BBC and we were like, she's played the match.
She's playing
This was
so
like
well.
70 minutes in and she was just, you know what? She looked back to her old self in the sense of her running. She was, and also Arsenal played to her strengths. They put the ball in the channel.
In the channels.
People got ahead of her and got into the box, and you know what? I was made up for her because there's a lot of pressure going back to your old club as well.
Yeah. But the thing is that, again, like I've mentioned, and I mentioned on here, you know, just being in there. Leslie cannot help but helping and being outside. She can't help. But the one thing that I'd want her to do is once she's done that, spin to get in there, get in the box. But what's got to happen is from the manager, from the players, has got to know she's done a link-up play. We know that Leslie's getting in the box. We have to get the ball in the box.
Yeah.
Like even the cut for her from Emily Fox it was a brilliant cutback for her. But those things need to be happening more for her. We need to play more to her strengths, especially a time now where, you know, we're just in that, we're in a kind of a limbo place.
Yeah.
You know, so you need the players who step up like she stepped up in that game, continue to play. Because now if you take me off, I'm going to think, why is he taking me off? I've scored, I've played well.
Like what else could I have done?
Yeah, why have you taken me off?
I did change the game.
About a player management side of things to get one of your top players like confident and going again, why would you take her off?
It did swing the momentum when she went off because obviously then Man United made them subs as well. And for me, watching, I'm like, Arsenal deserved to win the game. They were all over Man United in that first half especially, and they were getting crosses in the box, especially on the left-hand side. Not so much the right, but when Beth came on, it actually provided like a little bit more balance. But like you said, there was nobody in there.
No.
And then the game swings, so... Definitely a better performance, but I think it will be actually really tough against Brighton.
I do too.
I think Brighton are full of confidence at the moment and a different style, which Arsenal have to go and match.
You know something? I'm feeling like with Brighton and the way the manager is and going for 3 points everywhere he's going, it's maybe a good time to play Arsenal. It's a good time to play Arsenal, and hopefully they will recognise that Arsenal, so as they're going to come with something more, because I think that Brighton are coming to win.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's the expectation from them now, is that they can compete.
I'm really pleased for Leslie, though. Really pleased. And that's just from a striker's point of view, because sometimes you have to think to the manager, well, move from me, man. Simply because I scored, I'm up and running. You know, if you're going to take me off on business, I'm going to play again, but I scored. If you have to go into the selfish headspace, then go into it, Leslie, because you can't be in control of a manager taking you off in that scenario. No. So just go and do your stuff.
And I loved absolutely, like, all the fans were brilliant for Arsenal. The go up in numbers, and honestly, they were like really good with less. And I think that's when, because they noticed that's an old club, but also like that gives you confidence. And I think if players ever say, no, they don't affect you, they do.
Yeah,
You would be lying if you didn't, but they were amazing. So, no, I hope she can repeat them performances because she's going to be such a critical player for Arsenal, but also for England as well.
Well, that's her standard. She showed her standard against United, so we know that she can get to those standards. So keep going, Les. I'm going to go Leicester, Amandine, Miquel. I thought that when you watched their interviews at the start of the season and how confident she sounded, I thought they would have been doing a lot better than they are now. But there's no real style in attack.
No.
They've got 2 goals, conceded 5. I know they've got injuries because Mouchon, who came from Reims, really good forward, 21 ACL. The same with Goodwin, Rantala, injured. So when you look at the game the other day, that was so set up to be defensive. I don't know what the Leicester fans are thinking at the moment, but they're so defensive.
Yeah.
There's no real style of play, and they're missing like players, forward players. I can't see how this is going to work out for them, especially where she feels quite negative.
It's so hard as well because I think Leicester of last season, even though they had the managerial change halfway through, I think their strength was pressing and getting around the ball and making it really difficult for teams, and that was what they did. And obviously, when you're missing 3 key players out of such a small squad, it's of course it's going to take a hit. But I think for me to be that defensive, I think that doesn't suit their players that they have.
They lost 1-0, and when you look at the way they played, I couldn't see them scoring.
No, I think that was the thing. When you're watching the highlights, it's when does the Brighton keeper make a save?
Exactly.
And she didn't make any really. And normally it's Leicester's kind of off the cuff and making their own chances, not through maybe play, but pressing and that intensity. And it just wasn't there.
It's going to be interesting to see how they get on. But depending on how West Ham, Palace, and Everton do, I think that they might drop points them lot. So Leicester, if they're going to be that defensive, they might be able to get away with it by not scoring the goals, but maybe not conceding. But at the same time, if them teams do kick in, I think Leicester might be in trouble. Who else you going for?
Robert de Pauw, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Oh, I had such high hopes for Villa so far.
Did you see Liverpool tear them to shreds with it?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of in playing the way that the men play, I do. But then I think when you bring in a number of players, it does sometimes take time to get that kind of everybody understanding what they're doing. And I think I watched the goals against Liverpool and the intensity's there to try and press. But when you're pressing that much, if one person's out of that press and out of sync, then it does leave gaps. And I looked at the formations and the team sheets, and I feel as though he tried to match what Liverpool did in terms of formation, 3-4-3, and I think that kind of stifled them a little bit. And you've got Katie Robertson trying to be a right wing back, and you see on the second goal she's nowhere near Taylor Hines because she's probably thinking forward. And probably the biggest thing for me is obviously they're conceding a lot of goals from crosses, but also and their main point is they like to score from crosses, but Rachel Daly's playing a deeper role.
She's so deep.
And for me...
Is he trying to get Nunes in? Is he trying to crowbar her in and try to get Rachel Daly into a team where he wants Nunes in? He's trying to get Rachel Daly in, but she's too deep. She's not in the box where she does all her great stuff.
I feel as though when Rachel Daly's at that 9, as a centre-half, you can never, ever switch off. And I think especially when them crosses are coming in, and Lucy Stan put one in for Nunes to score. You want Rachel Daly in and around them aerial balls and not doing all the work. And I think for me, it's just trying to find his best 11. And I'm not sure he kind of knows that as yet. So I think in terms of mixed performances, I think sometimes the performance is there, but then sometimes it's not.
I think that was it. It might have been the first goal. What Liverpool scored against them. It was literally the centre half had it in the middle, right in there, deep in their third. 3 passes and it was in the goal. Yeah, that was so easy.
Because they like to block central. So if one pass goes around the outside, it's hard for them to all shift over. So you've got to give up some space, which was that left-hand side where Hines was. So I think it's that understanding. But I think for me, they have some great players. And I think they're missing a few key players as well. So I think maybe when they get back into kind of getting them back fit and back from suspension, then it could maybe make a difference. But I think we were probably expecting a lot from Villa at this stage in the season.
I was as well, but it doesn't seem to be materialising at the minute.
What manager have you got now?
Sonia Bompastor. She's so cool. She's so calm with everything.
Yeah.
You know, even when they score, even when they're just drubbing people, she just seems very, very calm in her delivery. 5 wins, 7 wins out of 7 in the Prem. If you count the Champions League, people still talking about Chelsea as they've not hit the top form yet. But they've got individuals like someone like a Guru Wrighton, for instance. You know, Aggie Beaver Jones scoring again, even after starting the season so well, scoring a brilliant header again the other day. You know, players playing well. 14 players have scored in that team. Everybody, some in the defence, in the midfield, up front, people are scoring. I think they rested Ramirez as well the other day.
Lucy Bronze is not even in the squad,
you know what I mean? So we're talking about a team now that are like a team, like look at Everton, what they've done to Everton. You know, blasted them. Man United have beaten 1-0. We drew them 5-0, blasted them 5-2 top.
That was the thing when I was watching the game. Obviously it's 3-0 at half time, and you're thinking, okay, she's probably going to make some subs, and she doesn't make them on until probably a bit later on. You think, no, right, okay, this game's dead now. And then they come on and they score 2 within 5 minutes, and like the goal difference is scary already, like the plus 20 or something like that. And it's just like, that is what Chelsea have done over a lot of years, is that they don't just settle for a 3-0 at half time.
Yeah.
They just keep going and they keep going. And obviously the style of play is different compared to Emma Hayes. Emma Hayes is probably a little bit more direct, but like now Sonia's trying to get them to play through the thirds because they have the players that are able to do that. And
so good. Canmurid as well.
The finishing, the chances, which is massive in this league when it's such a 22-game league. It's goals do count, and they're able to, in the first 5 games of the season, get that goal tally up before they play the so-called big teams coming up.
You feel like already, I mentioned earlier, like there's 22 games in the WSL and they've already won 5 at a canter with momentum and confidence, and people are saying that they've not even hit form. If they hit form, it's over.
Yeah, like what does form look like to them?
I know,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm
you're
like,
hoping
what does
like
it
Liverpool
actually
can do, because last couple of years Liverpool have caused them a problem, especially like last year with a 4-3, where like Liverpool literally handed it to Man City and then Man City handed it back to Chelsea when they beat them 4-3.
Yeah.
But like I don't see it being the same Chelsea that Liverpool played there with that Emma Hayes side, especially at the stage of the season it was. I think them playing them now, this stage of the season, with them in this form, with players coming back, I could see Chelsea winning again.
I'm excited for the game, actually. I think Liverpool have done well this season. I think they kind of know what they're about. They know what they're supposed to do. They've got players that can change games and they can win games. And I think that's the difference with Liverpool this season. You've got players that can come on and actually create them chances and cause a problem. But it's going to be a tough game for Chelsea to go away to Liverpool, and obviously Champions League next week. It's how do you balance that with 3 games in the week? But I think in general, Chelsea at this moment in time are probably the team, along with Man City, that everybody's looking at.
The thing with Chelsea, why I feel that Chelsea would be okay, especially with the Champions League, especially when they play like Real Madrid. It's not the same Real Madrid as the men's teams, in name only. Celtic, I feel that Chelsea will beat them. It's the game after that. I think they've got City, right? So it depends on how they do. I can't see this Celtic being a problem because the level in respects of the top team like a Chelsea, you know, coming back and they're playing against a City. I think that because the squad is so good, Chelsea.
Oh, it's so
I don't think that them going away playing against a Celtic that they'll probably beat, and then come and play City is a big deal for them.
Yeah.
I think that it's all at the moment mapped out for Chelsea in respects of their approach to it now. They can go, for me, if they click in properly, they could go into an invincible season.
And the likes of like Ramirez coming in and just I think if she shows anything against Arsenal, then
no my official, no Sam Kerr still to come.
Yeah,
you know, Chelsea, bro. You know something? I just feel like the way she and the manager's so calm, so she's not getting carried away with anything.
No,
even though it's 5 wins on the spin in the WSL, you do feel it's going to take a lot to stop Chelsea. And if Liverpool continue to play like this and play that direct, because Liverpool ain't got no problem going over that midfield. Liverpool put it over the top, no problem.
That's what I mean when they say like they know what they're about.
Yeah.
Like they aren't going to necessarily play out from the back and play similar to what Brighton do. They're not going to do that.
No.
They're going to play it to their strengths, which is their speed in behind, but also players that are in the pocket to
do you think Lucy Bronze will play?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
So then if Lucy's gone there, then we might see Taylor Hines.
Yeah.
Depending
maybe
on how quick they could get through Chelsea. But I think Erin Cuthbert as well. She's been very good. She started the season very well. Did I mention Guru Wright and Kanya Rid?
Kanya Rid, yeah.
You know, my favourite
like
player
her.
at the moment is Ramirez. I just can't stop watching her. She's amazing. So you're looking at a whole bunch of players, like I mentioned, who are playing well, and they're supposedly not clicked yet. So there's trouble coming from Chelsea, I think.
Definitely. Right, yeah, I'm interested to see if you've seen the comments made from Catherine Batt about the commentary for the Man United. Yeah.
Honestly, you know how I feel about the commentary. I think it's poor when you're considering the levels that the game's trying to get to. I think the commentary is poor, getting names wrong. You know, just stating things that are so just obvious and wrong. But to hear a commentator with Ella Toone coming off saying that she's got a face like a slack bum, is they've got to look at that. They've got to raise the standards of it. And like when we talk about raising the standards of women's game, this is vitally important as well. People are listening. You can't say that. You can't say that about someone like Ella Toone, especially what Ella Toone's going through right now. You know, losing her dad not so long ago. And then you get a commentator just so blatantly and so just so flippantly saying something like that, thinking that there's no accountability to that. Honestly, I'm not having that. I'm so pleased that that's being called out, and they should do something about that.
That's the good thing in terms of that's why the professional leagues is kind of coming towards like a decision, because I think we've spoke about it in the past, haven't we? Everything just needs to be better. Absolutely
needs to be better, and you can't. And you know what? Again, he's got to realise that the game is going to where it's going to, and hopefully it will continue to go there. And people like that have got a part to play. There's young girls listening. There's people listening. There's people listening to the commentary. You want to hear good commentary on the women's games. It's one of the things that really annoys me, listening to people being so lax and so unprofessional in what they say. And this is one of the main ones I've ever heard. It's him saying that. It has to be stamped out. They have to do something about it. Get better people. I'm so disappointed in that. And I hope Ella's okay with that. Steph, you got to go, so we got to go. So what are you doing this weekend? Who you got?
Doing Man City Spurs at the Etihad, so looking forward to that.
Should be a good game,
yeah, so I better go.
Game. Okay, so I'll see you soon, Steph.
Yeah, see you soon.
Take it easy. Take it easy, everybody. Listen to Crossways.
Bye.
We love you, man.